Hi everyone, my name is Mae Barbercheck, and I am the 8th grade class of 2020's Student Council President. I would like to welcome you all to St. Francis School's first, and hopefully last, online middle school graduation. No matter how you are connected to the school, whether you are a student yourself, have a child, grandchild, niece, nephew, or sibling that attends the school, I think we can all agree that the way that the 8th grade class of 2020 is spending our last few months in middle school is really abnormal. A lot of people find it sad that we have to spend our last few months in classes together over a screen. However, I believe that the 8th grade class of 2020 is just an extremely strong group of kids and that we can triumph through something that is just this abnormal. As someone who has taken the time to get to know each of the students in our grade, I can confirm that our class is full of many diverse personalities. However, we somehow managed to lack the traits of cold-heartedness and exclusion. When chaperones from our 8th grade lock-in were asked about our behavior during the event, they said we were the best behaved group that they've had in a really long time. My theory for why they said this is because all of the students in our class have accepted the fact that without each of our unique personalities, the St. Francis community would not be the same inclusive and caring environment that I can confirm St. Francis School is. Not only do the students influence the good-natured behavior of our class, but the care and responsibility that the St. Francis faculty and staff have given us have encouraged us to be respectful towards each other and be grateful for the opportunities that St. Francis School has given us. In my opinion, the St. Francis faculty is filled with amazing teachers, coaches, and administrators that have always cared about their students' well-being. They have been spectacular role models for me and my classmates throughout our years at St. Francis. I could go on for hours about how the school has shaped each of our personalities. However, the ceremony can only last so long. Thank you so much for tuning in to our virtual graduation. And I would like to welcome you all to the 8th grade class of 2020's graduation.
Welcome to our first ever virtual graduation ceremony for our Goshen campus. I'd like to introduce myself to those friends and family watching whom I don't know. I'm Alexandra Thurstone, the head of school, and an alumna of both campuses as well. This is a ceremony and a class of 8th graders whom we will never forget. While this ceremony is unlike any we've conducted before, we've worked hard to preserve the time-honored traditions of our 8th grade celebrations to ensure that this class feels our love by conducting a first-ever carpool abacus procession. And that will be part of this graduation video, including the always fantastic student speeches, and posting this video on our YouTube channel so that our 8th graders and their families can view this memory whenever they like, forever. As they move on to high school, I want these young people to know that I am proud of them because they now represent the values that we hold dear at St. Francis. Our mission says it best. St. Francis cultivates a joyful, compassionate, intellectual community that celebrates individuality and inspires independent thinking for life. These 8th graders are excellent representatives of the school of thought. And what do we mean when we say that? We don't mean that they all think alike, far from it. We mean that they think for themselves and they have their own opinions. We mean that they are not afraid to speak up and share those opinions, even when we don't want to hear them. We mean that we know that not everyone shares their opinions, but they can still respect those with whom they disagree. We also mean that they are intellectually prepared like few of their peers. They have strong academic skills and they're ready to face high school. I have the unique ability to say this with 100% confidence, having led our high school for the last 19 years and experienced firsthand students from virtually every other middle school in the city. I'm certain that our 8th graders have the academic and personal skills to succeed wherever they go next year. Shortly, we'll have the opportunity to hear from some of them in their own words about what St. Francis and their classmates have meant to them. Having been in their shoes myself in 1980, I remember well what they are feeling, and I know firsthand how lucky we all are to have experienced the Goshen campus. St. Francis is a place unlike any other, and it's a place that one doesn't soon forget. Leaving 8th grade is a major transition point, and it's at these times that we are best able to reflect on what really matters in life. The memories we share as alums of this campus are indelibly imprinted on our brains. Among these are the wide open spaces, both in and outside the school walls, the fresh air, the bright green and sometimes white that greets us out every door and window, and the truly unique architecture of this wonderful building. Only we know what we're talking about when we speak of pods and amps. The warm, caring relationships that we shared with magnificent teachers, the passion, curiosity, and inspiration we found in our classes, the sense of family we felt with our classmates and the whole school, and the pervading feeling of joy that always washes over us when we think of St. Francis, especially when we have a little distance from it. As graduates of the Goshen campus, we share these memories and we know that there is no place like St. Francis. I, of course, was so strongly impacted by these memories that just staying through high school and sending my own children here wasn't enough. I had to come back and make this my life's work, and I feel so lucky every day that I made this choice. I hope that each of you will find your own way of coming back to St. Francis as well. For those of you who are continuing on with us at St. Francis for high school, we're thrilled to have the opportunity to continue to help you grow and spread your wings in high school. And I'm excited to be a part of the new St. Francis memories that you'll make in your next 4 years. What you feel now for the school will only grow during high school, and I look forward to celebrating your high school graduation with you in 4 years. For those students who are moving on to try a new path, we wish you all the best. But please know, to us, you are and always will be St. Francis people, which of course in my eyes is the highest compliment. And we'll always welcome you back to St. Francis should you choose to return at any time, even if it's just for a visit. Now I'd like to recognize those students who have long histories with the school, either through their families or through their time that they've spent with us. We are especially grateful for alumni who honor the school by sending their own children here. This year, 5 of these 8th graders are the children of graduates of either the Goshen campus or the high school, or both. Those students are Lachlan Apple, Lucy Cohen, Avery Flynn, Ella Gordon, and Jackson Wood. At this time, I'd like to recognize the special commitment of the families and students who have been at St. Francis since preschool, and therefore are St. Francis Goshen Campus Lifers. 5 of these students have been with us since preschool, and those students are Caroline Koloff, Julia Koloff, Allie Rahman, AJ Stevenson, and Maya Stevenson. And there are an additional 6 students who joined the St. Francis preschoolers in kindergarten or junior kindergarten at the Goshen campus and remained with us continuously through 8th grade. They too are St. Francis Goshen Campus Lifers. Please stand when I call your name. Actually, don't stand, but you get the point. Mae Wilson, Mia Barbercheck, Alex Frazier, Ben Mano, Ryan Marks, and Jackson Wood. Each of these students received an additional St. Francis Lifer plaque on their abacuses, as well as a certificate showing their first school picture and this year's school picture to commemorate their time on the Goshen campus. While some of these students have a long history with St. Francis, and we were also pleased to welcome 6 new students into the 8th grade class this year, which is a particularly large number of new 8th graders. And I will say they fit right in and never lost a beat. And of course, many others joined us throughout lower and middle school. But whether they've been here for life or just 1 year, this class has left its mark on the Goshen campus. Through the academic accolades they've earned, the heights in the fine arts to which they've soared, the athletic achievements they have garnered, and simply by being a great group of leaders and role models for our younger students. They will indeed be missed on the Goshen campus. I offer my heartfelt congratulations to the Goshen campus 2020 8th graders. You have my respect and affection, and I will always be grateful for the contributions you've made to this campus. And especially in this particularly challenging year, you are to be commended for your perseverance and the way that you have handled this adversity with grace. I'd also like to say a special thanks to your parents for their trust in us and their partnership, especially, again, during remote learning and this challenging year. We wouldn't be here today without your working together with us. And now, in Mr. Gabhart's final year as the Goshen campus head, he will offer his own remarks to our 8th graders as they leave the Goshen campus. Before he speaks, I'd like to thank him on behalf of all the faculty and staff, parents, and students, both past and present, for all he has contributed to St. Francis and to the middle school in particular. This year marks his 30th anniversary at St. Francis, and it isn't an understatement to say that he has poured his heart and soul into this school for 3 decades. A truly remarkable commitment. The good news is that he's not leaving us. He's returning to the classroom where he will continue to mold our students, and he will continue to lead our drama program in middle school and now also at the high school. Thank you, Reed, for 30 great years, and here's to 30 more.
Hello, class of 2020. I so wish you were right here with us, as was the plan, but of course, like class day, that can't be. So I consider it very much an honor to be able to give a graduation address to you, and I hope you take these words to heart. There's an expression coined by NBC nightly news anchor Tom Brokaw to describe Americans born in the early 1900s to the mid-1920s, the greatest generation. And what defines this particular group of Americans is hardship and sacrifice. For they not only lived through and endured the terrible economic conditions of the Great Depression, they also had to fight through the most horrific war the world had ever seen, World War II. And that period of time combined a continued depression, food rationing, and of course, a tremendous loss of life for Americans. Fast forward nearly 100 years, and America and the world finds itself in another crippling situation, a pandemic caused by a virus. In the fall of 2019, our 8th graders were starting their final year on the Goshen campus. They were giddy with excitement and looking forward to all the wonderful things that come with being an 8th grader at St. Francis. And they did get to experience some of these things. They had a memorable trip to Big South Fork that many of them wrote about in their class day blurbs. Despite some flooded tents and cramped sleeping quarters, this actually seems like a good memory to most of them now. Maybe not for Mr. Skaggs, though. They also got to perform the first play in our brand new theater, Our Town, and several got to be on the local news at 5 in the morning as a result. I think now that we've rested, that's a good memory too. And our field hockey, soccer, and basketball teams had some remarkable seasons and thrilling wins, but more than the victories was the team unity, pride, and yes, love these athletes had for each other and their coaches. It was extraordinary. Everything was going according to schedule until March, and then the world changed, and everyone at St. Francis changed right along with it. But before I finish that thought, who is this St. Francis Goshen class of 2019-20? How will we remember them? Well, I certainly can't single out every individual member of the class in a graduation speech. That's what class day is for, in fact. But I can remark on some of their quirks and idiosyncrasies that will stick with all of us when we remember these 38 special people. Things like Maverick Scooter barreling down the school ramps, his long hair flying with it. Allie Rahman's bad puns, even worse than mine? Maybe. Being in my office and hearing the unmistakably booming voice of Jack C. in the hallways ranting about something political. No way, dude, Boris Johnson doesn't know what he's doing. I'm gonna stop there, I did hear more. Zach Mushkin's Toes. Now, I don't know why this is his nickname. I could never get a straight answer, but that's an all-time classic. The number of impish and sly smiles and grins we saw on the Koloff girls' faces over the many years. I was so glad when Julia started donating her hair to St. Baldrick's so I could finally tell them apart. The 43,200 questions AJ asked his teachers over the years. That and the pig pen-like path of papers, books, scripts, and pencils he left behind in his wake. Esme running in the play shelter in field hockey cleats and falling flat on her face in the infamous fall of 2016. But I'm sure her teammates helped her up. And while we didn't get to see the government inspector, I have to do a quick Ben Mano impression. Out! 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 Jack Scantland was so jealous of that moment. And hopefully we'll get to see that live someday in the near future. And Mia's morning meeting send-off every day. Since this is a virtual address, I will do the honors for her for Wednesday, May 27th. I hope this one sticks with you because today's National Cellophane Tape Day. Y'all are dismissed. It was also National Senior Health Day, but I know better than to touch that one. And I could go on and on. For this class possesses a great sense of humor. But more than that, they support each other, and they are incredibly resilient. But again, I will circle back to that. It is traditional in a graduation address to give those honored some advice. Well, I'm certainly not Solomon the Wise, but I am going to pass on 4 things I've learned over the years, and they are fairly short and simple. 1, often in yearbooks, students write, "Don't ever change." I'm sorry, but that's wrong. Change. It's absolutely a part of life. How will you grow, adapt, and learn if you stay your 13 to 14-year-old self? Embrace change. 2, read everything you can get your hands on. Read different types of books, fiction, nonfiction, poems, newspapers, cereal boxes, whatever. There's wonderful information all around you. Take it in. Read sentences more than once. Let them wash over you. Savor it. And when you're finished with a great book, the kind you don't want to end, give it away to a friend. 3, don't be in a race to get to the next thing. High school, college, landing a job, starting a family, those things are all a special part of your life. Live them day by day and appreciate them as they're happening, Emily Webb. They'll be behind you so much faster than you can ever imagine. 4, do something nice for someone every day. It can be a very simple thing, like asking someone how they're doing in an area with which you know they've been struggling. Reach out to a relative or old friend with whom you've lost touch, and that will happen. Say something kind to a stranger, and look for these same things returning to you, and smile deeply inside and out when they do. So finally, I return to the Goshen class of 2020. I hope I don't offend you when I say you may not be the greatest class ever, like the greatest generation, but here's how we will remember you. Yes, you got a raw deal, cheated, so to speak, but you realized it wasn't about you. You could have quit, folded your tents, taken your ball and gone home, but you didn't. You persevered through remote learning, which was a new experience for all of us. You finished your capstone projects. You showed up for talent shows and sports banquets and cheered on your classmates and younger students. You led by example. You made the best of a horrible situation, and for that, you will always be in our hearts. Perhaps the most inspirational class ever. And no virus can ever take that away from you. You've made us all very proud to be Wyverns for life.
The Eagle Award is given annually to 1 or more 8th graders who have demonstrated the motivation and perseverance necessary for achieving extraordinary personal progress in their middle school years. This year's winners are Frey Blanford, Jack Christensen, and Ella Gordon. Congratulations. The Casey Award. This year's Frank Q. Casey Award is going to 8th grade students instead of 7th grade students. The Frank Q. Casey Scholarship Award is given by the middle school faculty to the 8th grade students who have demonstrated the highest scholarship work throughout their 8th grade year. This year's winners are Amy Bagley, Ben Mano, and Maya Stevenson. Congratulations.
It's my honor to present the Spirit of St. Francis Award, an award the faculty loves. It is the newest of our major awards, and it's simply about students' character, what's inside you. The Spirit of St. Francis Award is given annually to 1 or more 8th graders whose character reflects the spirit of St. Francis, who who exemplifies the school's value and whose conduct, in the words of St. Francis, lights the day for others. And this year we are proud to have 3 recipients of this award, and they are Mia Barbercheck, Ben Mano, and Mae Wilson. Congratulations to all of you.
The Head of School Award is given annually to the 8th grader or 8th graders making the greatest contribution to the Goshen campus in character, leadership, scholarship, consideration for others, and excellence in everyday school life. This year, we have 2 recipients. The Head of School Award goes to Jack Scantland. Congratulations, Jack. And our second recipient is Maya Stevenson. Congratulations, Maya.
Hi, my name is Allie Rahman, and I've gone to St. Francis School since preschool. For the past 11 or so years, I've gotten to know these people in my grade, and for the past 11 or so years, I've been dreading the moment when we had to say goodbye. It's not really goodbye, of course, but it's still really hard to leave the place and the people that you love, even if you know you might see them again eventually. My first impression of St. Francis, or at least of the Goshen campus, was a little before kindergarten. On my first day here, at this strange new place, I was super nervous and I tried not to talk to anyone. Today, on my last day, it'll be really hard to leave. St. Francis to me wasn't all a school. It was a place where we learned, but also where we grew together, both as students and as people. It's amazing to see how much we've changed over the past 9 years, and I'm honored to have been there for them. 8th grade class of 2020, you guys are amazing. You're kind, smart, strong, and wonderful people who I'm glad to share this moment with, and I'd never pick anyone else. As a class, we stand together through times we never could have anticipated before. And even as we stand alone at graduation, we stand alone together. I'll miss everyone so much, and I'll be forever grateful for all the memories we've shared here. Whether it's making jokes in class, singing at recess, or just making puns in general. And who could forget all the inside jokes from Pine Mountain or Big South Fork? So thank you, class of 2020, for everything. Except for when I'll be competing against you, well, and even when I am. I'll always be a Wyvern at heart.
Hi, my name is Reif. I have been thinking about writing this speech since I was probably in 4th grade, but I never imagined it would be under circumstances like this. Graduation has always been one of the things I've looked forward to most, not because I'm moving on, but because I get to look back on everything I've accomplished and all the memories that I have made. The past 8 years I've been at St. Francis have been nothing but a blast. I have created the best friends I could possibly ask for. I've formed the most amazing bonds with the most amazing teachers, and I've created memories to last a lifetime. This school has brought me so many opportunities and has guided me through life better than anyone or anything ever could. St. Francis has become the place I've felt the safest, I've laughed the hardest, and most importantly, my second home. I'm forever thankful for every single person in this school putting a smile on my face every single day. There's so many people at St. Francis who have impacted my life for the better, and I can't thank each and every one of them enough for that. However, there are people I do want to thank. First, I have to thank the most important person in my life, Coach Kelly. Ever since the first time I met you, I knew you'd have the greatest impact on my life. You're so much more than me than just my field hockey coach. You've taught me so many life skills and quite a few field hockey skills too. You're the first person I think of when something good and bad happens in my life. You're the person I can go to with anything and everything. You become a second mom to me, and most importantly, you've been the biggest inspiration in my life. I love you so much, and I'm going to miss you every single day next year. Miss Ponzio, thank you for everything you've done for me. I'm so thankful to have you in my life. You're the most amazing Spanish teacher, advisor, and friend I could ask for. You make the best out of everything and never fail to make me laugh. You always bring joy into my life no matter what situation you're in. Thank you for caring so much about me and always being there when I'm upset and when I'm happy. I'm going to miss you so much next year. My best friends in the whole wide world. You 7 should know who you are. You all have been the best friends I could possibly ask for, and I'm so thankful to have you in my life. Thank you for always making me laugh, putting a smile on my face every single day, whether it's our crazy lunches or endless laughs, no matter what. I can't not be happy when I'm around y'all. I'm going to miss you so much. I'm going to miss not seeing your faces and goofing off with you guys every single day next year. The teachers and staff, thank you for making the past 8 years at St. Francis the best they could have been. I'm so thankful to have been greeted with smiles and nothing but smiles every single day, and I can't thank each and every one of you enough for that. The 8 A's. We were quite the class, to say the least. This class has probably been one of the best classes I've been in at St. Francis. I'm going to miss laughing in science, sitting in the AMP during LA, Lachlan and Mae's silent contests in humanities, and showing Miss Holmes' TikToks during classes. I'm going to miss it all. Mom and Dad, I can't possibly express how thankful I am for you and how much love I have for the both of you. Thank you for putting up with me, driving me to swim, making sure I have all my work done, and everything and more. I love you guys to the moon and back. I can't thank everyone at St. Francis enough for making that past 8 years at St. Francis unforgettable. You all will forever hold a special place in my heart. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hales, and I've been at St. Francis for 5 years. Not as long as some people in my class, but I've been able to make so many memories. I've been to a couple graduations, and I've seen many people read their speeches. I've been looking forward to writing and giving mine. I'd like to shout out and thank some people. First, Coach Cully. You're always there for me when I need someone, and you've helped me through so much over the years. I know I can come to you for anything. You treat me and the rest of the field hockey team like family. I'm really going to miss field hockey and coming to your office to talk to you. I'm going to miss you every day. You have been like a second mom to me. Miss Atkins, you were my teacher and advisor for 3 years. I know I wasn't probably the best in your class, but it was always fun. You helped me learn science, but you also helped me when I needed to talk to someone. I would also like to talk about Miss Ponzio. I know I can come to you when I need help or advice. You are always there to help anyone who needs it. You care about everyone so much, and I'm really going to miss your class and all the fun times, like when Jack caught a rubber glove on fire. Being at St. Francis, I've had many memories and fun times with my best friends. One memory I will never forget is when I chased my friends down the hallway because we had a food fight, and the time I choked on a mint. This year has been the worst and the best year. I'm going to miss all of my classmates and the faculty and staff who have been there for me during my time at St. Francis. I am happy to start high school downtown, but I will miss Goshen and everyone there.
We've definitely done it. As we are here in our homes today, our middle school careers are coming to a close. The next chapter of our lives lay ahead of us, and looking back on these past 4 years, I feel confident saying that we are more than ready to face whatever obstacles we may encounter during our journey through high school. Middle school was no doubt a tough journey. In 5th grade, it was a step into a new school, and I remember walking to St. Francis at such a young age and feeling so welcomed and cared for. I was excited to go to a new school, whereas at many other schools I've been to, I've never felt that connection. 6th grade was a year of fun and tons of memories, Mr. Doble being one. He taught me that the world isn't always rainbows and sparkles, which we know is a fact because of what is happening currently. Of course, I won't forget from the beginning of 6th grade talking to Mr. Klopek about watersheds, which became an inside joke, and I did not forget to put that in my speech. 7th grade was a year of discovery. It was all more familiar, but with new opportunities opening up to me. I gained experiences that I would have never been aware of or taken without the encouragement from my teachers, which I'm so thankful for that I have teachers that care about our lives outside of school. 7th grade was also a year for bonding with my classmates, even though as soon as I stepped foot in St. Francis, I felt an amazing connection with so many of the other students, and you can't find that in many other schools. My 8th grade year began, and it came with the subtle realization that I was now one of the leaders, one of the older kids that I've looked up to for so long. 8th grade year went by fast. It went by too fast. So many memories were created with my friends, and I met so many new friends this year, which made it even better. I'm so sorry that we have to end 8th grade this way. I remember being in 5th grade and just being so excited to walk the stage, graduation, class day, and doing all the things that so many other kids get to experience in their 8th grade year. Although we can't have those things in person, we still have ways to honor and remember our grade. One thing is for certain, we would not be where we are today without help and support along the way. The vast amount of knowledge that we hold today is credit that we owe to all of our teachers who taught us things inside the classroom and life lessons out of it. Thank you to Mr. Donovan for being such an exceptional teacher, not only teaching me how to write an amazing paper, but teaching me life skills as well. I want to thank you for everything you did for me. Maybe it was not much for you, but it meant everything for me. Without your support, I'm not sure I would be quite where I am, or at least I would know I would not be as confident in my ability to take care of myself. Thank you to Mr. Berkey, who, how you helped me survive middle school. I will never understand, but I cannot thank you enough. Mr. Berkey cares for his students so much. His classroom feels like home. He's so generous and so kind, and I couldn't ask for a better music teacher. Although I am so sad that I will not be able to have Mr. Donovan and Mr. Berkey as teachers in the following years, I'm so happy that the other grades get to enjoy you as teachers and get to experience how much you care for your students. And thank you to all of my teachers, being so thoughtful about the way you teach. You have a massive impact on the kids you teach, and you had a massive impact on me. All the paths that we took, all the decisions that we made, they all helped us to realize who we were and who we wanted to be. We learned not to follow in footsteps, but to create our own. Middle school was a time to discover how to stand up for our own beliefs. It was a tough lesson to learn and an even harder skill to gain. But sure enough, we set our own trends and goals, not to let anyone discourage us. Middle school gave us a chance to learn to love ourselves, walk with confidence, and live without holding back. With the next 4 years to define who we are once more, we will never forget what we have learned within these school walls, even though we don't really have walls. We will never forget the chances that we took, the transformations, both big and small, that we've all undergone, and the opportunities that gave us a chance to realize our aspirations. The memories we have created together in this school can never be erased, and now we are here awaiting what the future holds. So, as this chapter ends, I can confidently say that we are more than prepared to begin our next.
I've gone to St. Francis for 11 years. 11 years of class, 11 years of recess, 11 years of snacks and lunches. And it's ending with you watching me on a computer screen in the pandemic. I would have never thought it would end like this in a million years. I never realized how much school meant to me until I couldn't have it. Sitting by the window in social studies, getting moved to a new table every week in math because I talk too much, sitting in the amp with Ella, Jackson, and Isaac every single LA class. That means so much to me. As soon as I walk into St. Francis, I feel a rush of love and feel like I belong. Everyone in that school knows me so well, and some know me better than I know myself. Whether that's shown by Lachlan and I talking so much we weren't allowed to sit next to each other in any classes, all my teachers knowing something's wrong with me immediately when I don't walk into class with a giant smile on my face, or Chef Nat and Gina always saying hi to me in the lunch line. There are so many parts of St. Francis that are so important to me. In science, I've sat in the same exact seat all year long, argued with Mr. Powell even though we both know I'm wrong, and Ella and I do most of our work and give Jackson and Isaac a lot of the answers, and give them pins every single class. In between classes, we would go chat with Coach Kelly, spend way too much time in the bathroom, or hang out in the lockers before a teacher comes and yells at us to leave. I'm so thankful I get to continue my St. Francis journey at the high school, but I know it won't be the same. Leaving the school is one of the hardest things I've ever done. I've grown up here, so thank you, St. Francis. Thank you to the hallways I've walked since I was 3 years old, the playground where I learned how to swing, and the lower school amp where I pulled an all-nighter with my classmates that are basically my sisters. It hurts so much to say goodbye, but I know you prepared me for life. So thank you.
In 6th grade, I was very nervous. I'd been going to the same small school my whole life and was unsure of what awaited me in middle school. Luckily, there was no need to be afraid. All of the teachers and students that I have met during my years at SFS have each taught me something valuable and treated me with kindness. I would especially like to thank Miss Holmes for welcoming me with open arms as my first St. Francis advisor in 6th grade, and Miss Jones for helping me to get the hang of middle school homework and reading assignments as my language arts teacher that same year. In fact, I feel that all of the St. Francis teachers deserve a special thanks. I could write full pages about each and every one of you, but I can't talk for hours. So instead, I will write one sentence about how each of you is important to me in your own way. Miss Pozzio, you are the craziest teacher I have ever met, but you never fail to make me smile. Mr. Bertkey, you always keep the class engaged with funny comments, and I am so excited to have you as my teacher again as a freshman. Mr. Taylor, you are a skilled artist, and have taught me so much during my years at St. Francis. Mr. Klopak, perhaps my favorite project in all of my years at SFS was the edible coral reef. We did so many fun experiments in your class, and you always made your students laugh. Miss Adkins, you are one of the kindest teachers that I have ever met, and I loved being your advisee in 7th grade. Miss Mishkin, thank you so much for doing NaNoWriMo and being such a huge part of my growth as a writer. Mr. Donovan, I will never forget how to analyze a poem or an article, but I would also like to thank you for organizing the Big South Fork trip and making jokes during class. Mr. Mahoney, thank you for being such a fun and lighthearted teacher and not overloading us with too much homework. Mr. Powell, you are an excellent teacher of a very difficult subject. I have no idea what sort of witchcraft you use to make our lessons interesting. Miss Coate, I have been very happy with math class this year, and let me just say that math is not my strong suit. Thank you for teaching me so well and always being understanding when I had questions. Coach Rowe and Mr. Coward, both of you always do your best to push your students to do better. In my opinion, that is definitely a sign of a good teacher. Miss Serrano, although you are not a teacher, I owe so much of my knowledge to you. Thank you for getting me to do quick recall and having all of the right books in the library. I am so glad that I was able to do the writing competition this year, and I would never have done it without you. Coach Kelly, you are one of the most amazing people I have ever met. You taught me more about field hockey than I could ever thought I could learn in 2 years. You, along with the whole team, made this year's winning season possible. Mr. Gabhart, thank you for being such a wonderful drama teacher and running the whole program. I was so excited when I heard that you'd be running the drama program downtown as well. Miss Thurstone, you are an amazing leader. I want to say thank you to you for hiring all of these excellent teachers in the first place and organizing everything that makes St. Francis a special school. I also want to show my appreciation for the St. Francis students, the girls in field hockey, the kids who do theater, the ones in quick recall, the people who entertained me during the 45-minute bus ride to and from school, my closest friends, and so many more. I am happy to have had the opportunity to meet all of you, and I will miss everyone in high school, except for those joining me downtown, of course. St. Francis is a wonderful school, and I am so glad that it has shaped and will continue to shape my personality and work ethic during my teenage years.
Hi, my name's Jack Scantland, and I can't believe we're already here. It seems like not that long ago, I was a pre-3 at the St. Francis preschool, focused on memorizing my mom's phone number and learning about penguins. Now, thankfully, I am beyond committing numbers and Arctic animals to my memory. I'm here, saying goodbye to this community and this place I've grown with for the past 11 years. I don't think anyone expected us to end up where we are now, in the middle of a global pandemic, our final classes and time together spent through screens. Despite what we faced at the end of our final year at the Goshen campus, I am so proud of us as a class. I'm proud of who we are as individuals and as a grade. I am proud of the wonderful, exceptional people we have become. One memory that will always stick with me is when we went camping at Big South Fork. That was one of the best parts of the year, in my opinion. From exploring streams to just talking on a rock while we made breakfast. It is a favorite memory of mine and one I hold on dearly to. Another memory that I'm going to cherish is the 8th grade lock-in. From playing volleyball and watching the ring, it was such a fun and wholesome experience. It really epitomizes my feelings for my class and school. I'm so happy we were able to share that moment before the year took an abrupt turn and became virtual and remote. 2 words I would never have associated with St. Francis before the pandemic. All 36 of you have changed me for the better. I'm so sad that we have to say goodbye, but I'm so happy that this happened. I feel so lucky to have met, befriended, and spent time with you amazing people. 8th grade Goshen class of 2020. At graduation, we may be 6 feet apart, but we will always be in each other's hearts.